So we are set to start the session. I hope I am audible to you all, and so I will turn on the.
Give the before
Yeah,
before starting this, you give the access to somebody because in between there will be a lot of sound.
yeah. I have a second device, so essentially,
Yeah, oh, fine, no problem.
yeah, thanks for reminding. So I hope my screen is visible, and so welcome all, and thanks for joining again on a Sunday. And so we are on the week 2 discussion of this course, research methodology for natural sciences, and I am Udipta from IIT Madras, PhD scholar. So this week the videos were on. So last time we were mostly delving on how the philosophical foundations of science emerged and how those concepts were relevant to modern science also. But this time we will mostly discuss the logics behind and the logics that are relevant both in our lives and also how we can use those common logics that we don't realize we use on our daily lives in our research too. So yeah, like logical reasoning has been a part of our research also, as our examinations have also been there that essentially test the logical reasoning. So but it forms a basic component of our research and life too. So we in this course we learned about first we learned about inductive logic. So essentially we will go not in a deep but essentially just overview over all these things, inductive logic. We also saw the methods how this inductive reasoning is developed. We also see some philosophical questions like how the thoughts of inductive logics were, and at that time how it developed and how it was relevant, and the probabilistic inductive logic also, like sometimes there is some probability also attached to the logic. So how we are dealing with that. Secondly, we go for some deductive logics, and there we see what is deductive logic, some propositional logical statements also we see, some logical structures we see. Then also we get on to the probabilistic deductive logic, the probability attached to the logic, and some diffusible deductive reasoning. So in that we had discussed how some premises gets more importance over other premises, and how those conclusions, how that can help us change our conclusion. So essentially that, and our decision making. And then we got to understand something called a syllogistic logic, in which we also see how these logics are formed and how conclusion is drawn from them. Finally, the chapter closes on something on use and misuse of logic. So essentially at the end of the course we see how we structure with a get structure we develop these conclusions. But essentially there are some rules that also helps us to essentially to importance of these logic structures, and how error in this logic structure can also get us in a trap of having false reasoning. So we essentially get to a point that what is inductive logic. So in inductive logic is a type of reasoning that involves making general conclusions based on some specific observations or evidence. So a conclusion is drawn based on the evidence or the observations here, and it is something that is considered probable or most likely. But in a future, it it is something, it is not something that is necessarily certain. For example, suppose if a person observes that all apples that they have eaten from a certain tree are sweet, so they might conclude that all the apples from that tree are sweet. So this is an inductive reason. This conclusion is based on evidence. So essentially, it's based on how you have tasted, how many you have tasted. So that also determines the strength of the logic. So one day you might encounter an apple of the same tree that is sour. So that can essentially break the your inductive logic. So before going to the inductive logic, we also see some probabilistic inductive logic, in which we learn about probabilistic inductive reasoning. So something called as probabilistic inductive reasoning. And something called as deterministic inductive reasoning. Can somebody tell the difference between this in one line? You can unmute yourself and tell, or otherwise you can always write in the chat and we can discuss that out. Anybody?
Probability means in 100 situation of the same right. So 95% of the cases this is true. It may be wrong in the other 5%.
Okay.
So it is considered that with a 95% confidence level, you can say that this is a this is a conclusion you can draw.
Okay.
With a 95% probability. And in deterministic, what happens is, if otherwise it is or disproved, so till then it is the unless we find a apple with sour taste, it is concluded that the apples from that tree are
true. Okay. Yeah. Correct. Perfect. So the first one is essentially we define the degree of confidence in our statement, and the second one, the deterministic one, is one in which we essentially tell that in the absence of the contrasting evidence, we can tell that in that time this logic is true. So essentially these safeguards are logic in case of our something. So basically, to safeguard against some logical errors, these are some statements that essentially strengthen our logic making.
So with the here in probabilistic inductive logic, so it is like in a population, at all several evidences are there which are not not falling in the like how do you explain this probabilistic thing, like in the population? Just give that example if you can.
Yeah. So it's like if I can tell, it is like so probability lies between 0 and 1. Yeah. So if something lies in the region of 0 to 0.5, you will say it is not highly it will not be highly likely. But in a sense, something will lie between the region of 0.5 to 1. Okay, you will say, okay, that event is going to be highly likely. So it depends on the logic. So it depends on the value of the probability, how much confidence you derive. Then you have some counters like 95%. I need something to have very high degree of confidence. Then you will have to say that, okay, that should lie in 95% probability. So that is something that statements bring to the table. So yeah, that's what.
And deterministic, till the time you don't get
Till the time you don't encounter
Uh,
encounter evidence that basically dismisses your current logic.
Current logic. Okay. Thank you.
So I think in the next some of the chapters, I think some of the basically videos, we will also see how this essentially how this probability we get to these values, and how the statistics is essentially involved in this decision making. So yeah, then that is like going ahead with the probabilistic. We have that things of confidence and such things, and that essentially brings to the, so here mostly then it comes to the point of quantitative inductive logic. So when you basically say that okay, I need something of high confidence, that should lie in the 95% confidence, and then it brings to that quantitative inductive logic. Okay. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah,
Probability is only the chances of.
chances. Yeah, yeah. So
But
yeah.
no, sorry, but the probability
Yeah.
will be tested on the evidence.
Hmm? Evidence in a
But
sense, yeah. Those are different evidences form different different cases, yeah. And then we go.
all the apples we are seeing, that is a hypothesis, that is a premise.
Hmm.
After testing, there are 100 apples on the two we test. It might be
True.
possible that 5 or 10 apples they will show, they will not be
Maybe
sweet.
so.
That would
True. Yeah. So it's like the person thinks that inductive logic. So it's sometimes we tell that uh, all we can only also tell that all apples are sweet and just go on with our business, or we can be more pure or more refined, and you can tell that the 95% of the apples you will eat from this tree will be sweet. That's some way of presenting our data, or presenting our or better to be said, to be logically correct. You can any day say that all the apples are sweet and you can go and buy it. Yeah, that's the thing. So yeah, I think I am clear.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah, sure. So we have somebody raised your hand. Okay. So then we come to deductive logic. So in deductive logic, it is a type of reasoning that involves starting with a general statement or premise and deducing a specific conclusion. So that we saw that here we mostly whenever you put this in internet, you will see that it's something that goes from general to the particular, whereas in the case of inductive, it will be from particular to general. So that's how we develop these logics. So in this deductive logic, you will see when you are seeing the videos, you will see something called as propositional logics. Okay, so here then we have, so in this we define some statements, and how these statements gets to a conclusion. We develop this. So mostly I will not we will not discuss this now, but maybe on the questions when we will discussing, so taking some use cases, we can maybe discuss those things.
Yeah, the assignment was very confusing on these
Oh,
which were there with the
okay.
assignment two.
Yeah.
I think you need to explain.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Sure. So yeah, so we have a small example though. So in this we see that two premises are there: all men are mortal, and Socrates is a man. So here it's something like what we do in maths. Yeah, we sometimes cut the common functions, and then we say okay, Socrates is a mortal. Though it's not so simple that we do so. We will see that how we also saw in the videos that it's not such that all times we do this we get a correct options. Essentially the most correct one is something of a Venn diagram, making a Venn diagram and essentially getting the correct logical structure. So that essentially we will see in the videos in the coming problem discussions. Yeah, so mostly then we have something called as chain of deductions, in which such one conclusion. So this is conclusion one. Then we fight it against with another premise. So that can be premise 3, and then we can get from this conclusion 2, and this can go on, and this is called as chain of deductions. This is chain of deductions. So such things are also possible. And then in this deductive logic also we have the probabilistic deductive logic also, that if like here only all men are mortal with probability, some men are mortal with probability of this one, and then that thing also with the conclusion also will have a associated probability with it. So probabilistic factors are there in both kind of logic. So then we have syllogistic logic. So in which syllogism is a kind of a logical argument that applies deductive reasoning to arrive at a conclusion based on two or more propositions that are asserted or assumed to be true. So essentially this syllogism has a particular structure. So first one, it should be a major premise, then a minor premise, that essentially we saw in the last one, and the conclusion. So essentially this major premise is a kind of a statement. Can you tell which kind of statement this is? General or specific?
General.
Yeah, this is a general statement.
This is based on
Deductive reasoning, yeah. Syllogism.
general to particular.
So, and then we have a specific statement. And upon that we test it and we come to a conclusion. So this is a typical way how the logics are formed. So you can go on like all mammals are have warm blood, and then leopard is a mammal, and then you cut this mammal, and then a leopard is leopards have warm blood. So that's how we make to such a lot of such examples have been. This is one such I remember from the video only.
In the same example, as you said, the probabilistic, the chain of deduction. If you want to put chain of deduction over here, then how do you do?
Okay, so yeah, so let's see. So if we want a chain of deduction, then let me think something. So you can have multiple things. So animals stay in jungle. All animals are mammals.
We are having multiple premises.
Yeah. Then we have, okay, so you then we can say that finally all animals stay in jungle, all animals are mammals, all mammals have warm blood, leopard is a mammal, then finally you can say, okay, leopards stay in a jungle.
comes to a specific
Yeah, yeah. So that's kind of a chain of deduction that we get. So different premise. So essentially, most on two or more. So as we have said, it is based on two or more. So when there is a two or more, you will say then okay. Then we have this chain of deductions.
So in that case, can there be only one conclusion or there are multiple conclusions?
Yeah.
The explanation. Can there be a single conclusion?
Uh,
Or
yeah.
conclusion? Because
Yeah. Actually,
in
there are
example,
multiple conclusions. Yeah. Actually, there are multiple conclusions.
only these are the very simple examples of
Yeah.
but in the exam
True.
point of
True.
view,
True.
they are not so simple. There is no,
Yeah,
they,
yeah. Yeah, maybe once essentially you all have I think submitted the assignments, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, we had
Yes, sir.
Huh?
and then what will be the base if there are multiple conclusions?
Mhm.
So what is the base? How can we come to the conclusion that one or two or three conclusions they are? Can we look into the premises model?
So yeah, it essentially it's always in probability questions. Yeah, you have to look for the different conditions and probabilities, and you have to include all the conditions. That's how the area of this set theory and the area of probability is developed. So essentially, if they are in the like with respect to the course, if there are options available and you just have to select options, it is quite easier to do. But when you have to just raw form, you have to make all the conclusions. Yeah, it gets definitely hard to do so. So yeah, it's all about how we build our logic and consider all the cases that are possible.
But this
Can you use Venn diagram?
thing will be mostly on the how it will be. It will be elaborative section or based on MCQs.
Mostly it is MCQs and mostly some tricky multiple choice can also be found here. So
Okay.
those yeah, I think in the current assignments you must have faced that.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
similar.
yeah.
But in this
Yeah.
question, what you have given, what we have done, so here only what I could conclude is only one single conclusion which is coming out that, as you said, that all and here that all animals stay in jungle. So
Mm.
one is that, and if we see the earlier major and minor premises, then we get one conclusion. So out of this, how this multiple conclusions will be concluded over here? It's only one conclusion, right?
Yeah, actually, but maybe I just made it so.
Yeah. You can
Got
give
it.
some other examples.
Examples, yeah. So yeah, let me think. So during the course of the today, maybe we can discuss something that I can maybe think of now.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, coming to the maybe the active part. So essentially, we discussed some things, and now we will discuss some of the questions here. And so this is a statement, and so you have to tell that if A happens, then B happens. So A is an event, and B is a different event. So you have to tell which one of them should essentially be true. Which of the statements of them would be true, and this is a multi-correct, so multi-statement can be true. So yeah, a good way to think is you can think of A as some event, and then put it against this one and C also.
So last two are the correct.
Okay.
Yeah, that copper and
I
that.
did not understand this problem.
Huh?
I did not understand this problem.
Okay. So there is you can consider two events. So events A and B. So it's like event is something like If I study, then I will pass. So it's like these are two events. If I read, I become. So if I study and exam passing in exam is second event. So that kind of things. So yeah. You got it? You got the explanation?
The last two will be the.
Okay. Okay. So can anybody of you explain why last two can be the one?
Last two.
Yeah. Why?
If I study like for the last option, Aditya, if I study, then I will pass in the exam.
Okay.
If I does not study, I will not pass in the exam. So
Okay.
both
And
the
the other options?
uh,
There it is. Now
is not-
now it becomes
if you
tricky.
don't study,
Uh,
then I will not be able to pass in the exam. That is what the first statement is saying.
okay. So you
There
think
is
that is
like-
false?
There is a yeah, so that is false because that's a question mark. It doesn't conclude anything like, as per my understanding. And if I don't pass, then maybe I have not studied. So again, that is not conclusive. The first and the second.
Yeah. First yeah. True. So anybody has any other explanations? The other statements or other things? So why is first not correct? So essentially we can have different reasons also, yeah, and also like so it's like we
So
can
can
say
we
that
say here,
tell-
sir, excuse me, so
please.
can we say here existence of A, then definitely B will happen.
Yeah, that
If
that is a
there
given, that is a
there
given
is not
statement.
existence of B, if there is a not existence of B, then conclusion is A did not happen. So the third option is right, and
Yeah.
if A is true, means
Mhm.
the existence of A or it happened, definitely B must happen.
True. Yeah. That's what is the correct answer. But essentially,
Here
Can I-
probability is come.
yeah, please.
Issue of probability comes here.
No. Here, so essentially, probability comes, we will have a probabilistic factor attached to it.
Or
So-
concrete statement is here.
Yeah, it is. So they have said it is a like universe or a basically always true kind of option.
Sir, good evening.
Based on dependency, then
Once at a time, please. Yeah.
solving
Please.
based on dependency. So why the option one is not correct?
I'm not able to hear.
Sir,
Who is speaking?
This is I just speak it. The basis of the problem is if and then
Okay. Yeah.
they happen, then the B is must happen. Na?
Mhm.
Now we take the first option, and if A is not true, then the B will not happen. So if we
Yeah.
if A means if we don't study, then we'll not get to the examination.
True. Yeah. So yeah, that is
So
yeah.
something A happens, then B must happen. So if A does not happen, the B also does not happen. So then why it is not correct?
Yeah. So yeah. I got your concept. I think I got your question. Yeah. So if so, it's like if A then B. The condition is like that. If A happens, then it's B. So if we
Yeah,
know
Udit.
that yeah, please.
Yeah, can I weigh in here? Because I think there are two things which we need to consider here. I mean, according to me, One is that there is a case of happening and not happening, and there is a case of whether the premise is true or not. Okay.
True or not?
So
Yeah.
I guess we are mixing those, and that is why like a bit confusion is here.
Yeah.
Like according to me, if I recall the lectures, video lectures,
Lectures.
there was a time when professor said that you cannot have a correct deduction from a false premise. So if you
True.
consider the question, the first option which says A is not true, that means like, whatever A is, it's false. So it's a false premise, and you cannot have a correct answer from that. So maybe that is why that is not the answer according to me.
Possible. Yeah. True.
Yeah.
So yeah, the thing is, the thing that is given as a statement, we have to consider it as true. So the statement that it is written that if A then B, it is essentially true. So then you have to consider that. Yeah.
So basis the
My opinion is that.
so basis the statement which is
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please.
statement which is given, we have to conclude these two statements. So it is given A, if A happens, then B happens. So consider it as true. Then last two options will be right, because
Yeah.
A is depend like kind of like if A occurs, then B occurs. If A doesn't occur, then B does.
B does not occur. Yeah. 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 That is.
Second option.
In my opinion,
Second option.
shall I
Yeah.
talk?
Yeah. Please. Once at a time. It gets confusing for me. Actually. Yeah. Please.
The problem is given that if A happens, then B happens.
Yeah.
These are not two events. This is only one event and only one premise.
Yeah. This is a one.
What I-
One.
In that, if
Yeah.
A is true or false, we cannot make like that because it is only one event. Because problem to problem, these things will change. We cannot assess it by our prior knowledge. If we study, we will pass. If we if we not study, if we are not studying, we are not going to pass. It is not like our with prior knowledge we have to solve this
True.
problem.
Yeah.
We have
Prior
to-
knowledge is something we have to take. Like we can't consider. But the thing is, the thing is, if we logically just take it as A and B, the thing is, the statement tells that if A, then B. So if yeah, so if A is not true, then B does not happen. And the thing is, the second options. Yeah, please. Yeah.
Answer here A. Suppose we are suppose A is if I do not if I study, then I will pass.
True.
So not A means if I do not study, then I will not pass for first option. But there may be the another reason if I don't pass. Suppose
Yeah.
if I am not attempting exam, then
Yeah.
that may be the reason. So if not A is true means only not A is not the reason to not pass in the exam. That is why first option here is not correct. Means there may be another reasons of not passing in the exam. That's why first option is not correct.
Yeah,
in the
specific
third
examples actually you can find a lot. Specific examples are good to go. Yeah, and the thing is, B is wrong is because we can't see the conclusion. So it's always not the reverse. So so essentially if B happens, then A must have happened. It is not something. So B
Can
must
pass.
B can pass from other.
There probability is there that
Yeah.
A is not true, then B will not true. This is also not a concrete statement, and the second one is also not a concrete statement of both the events which are.
Yeah, possibilities are there, but it is not something that is conclusion.
Yeah, it's not concrete, but only possibilities is there.
True. Yeah. Anybody would like to add something?
What is the final conclusion?
Okay. The final conclusion is so the thing is so just like we had so in this question was developed on the keeping in mind that we had a statement called that if copper is dipped in vinegar, it turns green. Yeah. So you can put that here and see that so if copper is dipped in vinegar, uh, it turns
First
green.
done.
So let's test it accordingly. So if so, what is true? If A is not true, so if copper is not put in vinegar, then B will not happen. So what is the conclusion here? Is it true or false?
It's false. It can be painted also.
True. Yeah. Correct. So the second one, if B happens, the copper turns green. So then A must have happened. Is it true or not? No. Yeah. It's the sum similar to the refacing the first statement. So it is also not true. Then if B does not happen, so the copper does not green, the A did not happen. Is it true or false?
True.
True. Yeah. If the copper is not turning green, mostly because it has not been dipped in the vinegar. Yeah. If it was dipped in vinegar, it will turn green. That's the last option. Yeah. Okay. I think that was the conclusion here.
Yeah.
So coming to the problem 2, there are 3 statements given. That so these statements are we will run around 4 problems, and all of them will have this 3 statements common. The statement 4 will be changing, and essentially that will also tell us which of the conclusions are correct. So here the statement 1 is, if COVID-19 virus infects a person, the droplets come out of his or her mouth are infectious. Okay. Statement 2 is, if another person is within 2 meters without protection, he or she will inhale the droplets and will be infected. The third statement is, an infected person over the age of 60 will die within 15 minutes. So you have found that 15 days back, Ajay and Lalita and a 70-year-old, like Lalita being 70-year-old, were together in a lift and none of them were using masks. What conclusions can you draw using a valid logic? Statement 4 is given. So statement 4, 15 days back, Ajay was infected with COVID-19. So these are some possibilities. So you have to tell which of these is a conclusion. So remember, these are not probabilistic statements. These are like we have to assume them to be true. Tejal, I am audible, yeah. Okay, sure. B, okay. Okay, yeah. Okay. is the correct answer. Okay. So anybody can explain why B is most of you are telling B and some are also telling C. Okay. So why B can be correct
Lalita will
answer?
die.
B is the answer because the one more statement which is given, the statement 3, which talks about that Ajay and Lalita was 70-year-old lady, but together in the lift and none of them were wearing masks. So basically, when we look at this statement, wherein it is mentioned that it is 70-year-old lady. So considering that one, second thing is the facts has been given in the premise in the statement 2 also. So concluding based on all the observations which have been given, B seems to be a right answer.
See, yeah. So you were asking about chain of deductions, yeah.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
one such example of chain of deductions. So you have
Yes.
statement one and statement two. They essentially tell that whoever gets those droplets will get COVID, and then the other two statements basically we get to a different
Yeah,
conclusion. So
even statement 3 and statement 4 are quite interrelated,
yeah,
wherein
yeah.
they have mentioned that infected person over the age of 60 will die within 15 days. So,
So yeah.
like concluding all these four statement, yes, Lalita is dead is the right answer.
Yeah. So
Ajay
yeah.
has recovered will not be an answer because some people have written C also.
Yeah.
Uh,
So yeah. Let somebody answer that. Yeah, please. So why you think C is also an option?
So because 15 days before he was infected by with COVID-19.
Okay. So uh, how C can be a correct answer?
Ajay's age is not specified over here, Rudika. Like if in
Yeah.
the statement, third statement, if they would have also put Ajay's age,
Mm.
probably then Ajay has recovered can also be an answer.
True. Yeah. And essentially, if you are thinking of the prior truths that within 14 days we are getting treated, then we can't consider it. So yeah. So essentially, if you are so it's like that. We do not have proof that Ajay is over the age of 70, or essentially, if you are if you are basing it on a prior knowledge, then also it cannot be a correct conclusion. So going to the next one, the statements remain same. Statement 3 statements remain same, and the statement 4 changes here. So
Statement 1, sir. Not affected.
okay, first maybe write the answers in the then we can discuss. Okay, somebody can answer why it is none of the above.
Because here Ajay is not infected, so if they are in the lift together, so Lalita cannot be infected. And Ajay, first option is false because it is not. He's not infected. Lalita will not be infected, and Ajay has recovered. So if he's not infected, then how can he recover? So none of the babies are.
The premise itself is false when we see to the statement 4.
Yeah.
Ajay was not infected with COVID-19. Looking at the first, second, and third premises and the fourth given statement which is there, third premises, they are true premises. The fourth is a false premises. So that's why, and all the given answers like Ajay has been infected, because already the fourth statement says Ajay was not infected with COVID-19. So it is invalid. Lalita is not infected. So that is also invalid because there is no correlation from above premises with this statement too. Ajay has recovered. Already the statement 4 is saying that Ajay was not infected, so there is no chance of recovery. So none of the above.
Lalita can get infected. So why is it wrong?
Yeah. No, but it is given Lalita is not infected. If it would have been Lalita is infected, then it would have been probably the choice of answer.
Okay.
Yeah. Can I vein like in why Lalita is not
Like
affected?
from other places also.
Please.
Lalita
Yeah.
can be
True.
infected from other places.
Other
so
place
it is
also. Yeah. Why is it so? It's not an option.
Yeah, I think we also need to look at the situation just about statement 4. It clearly says that they were not wearing any mask, which actually supports the statement 2. That without any protection, if you are within the 2 meters range, then you will be affected. Okay.
Yeah.
So based on that statement, we need to negate that Lalita can't be like Lalita has to be infected with COVID, because both of them were not wearing mask, plus they were in the 2 meters range without protection. So according to statement 2, if you look at the chain of evidences, then Lalita has to be infected with COVID. Okay. And like Ajay has been infected, that is actually negating the statement 4 itself, so it can't be true as well. And Ajay has, because we have no evidences or any statement which is supporting the recovery time. So third can also do as well on the basis of probability only. So of course none of the above is the only option which we are left with.
Correct. Okay. Yeah. So then the next one. Problem 4. The three statements remain same. The statement 4 changes that Lalita has not died in the past 15 days. Yeah, Neelam. Okay. Anybody can tell why?
Only
So
C is the answer, is it?
yeah, I think so. Yeah. So yeah, maybe we can discuss anyway. I don't know. Maybe that time.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So yeah, why you think B can be a correct? Maybe. Yeah.
Because it is based on the statement 4. Like if we see
Hmm.
all the statements like 49,000 kilometer distance and the infected person 60 years above and all. So
Hmm.
based on that, Lalita has not died in the past 15 days is the fourth statement. So when
Hmm.
we see to that, Lalita has not been infected in past 15 days, can also be an answer. Because the statement 4 says that she has not died in 15 days.
Hmm.
So probability is that she was never infected.
Okay.
But again there is another theory to it that Lalita was above 70-year-old lady. So I think that reason is not
No,
compulsory.
no. Statement three tells that if you are over the age of 60, you will die within 15 days.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. But it says Lalita has not been infected in the past 15 days.
So how do we come to this conclusion? Which method are we using? Venn diagram. I just want to know, like, what method are we using here? Because Lalita could have been infected in any other way. It's not written that only one day she went in the lift and she was with somebody. She must
Yeah.
have
So
contacted so many other people.
true. If we have those possibilities, essentially we can't tell the. So those are the possibilities. So conclusion is something we have to derive from the only the statements. So if we are concrete about the things, so we can tell it as a conclusion. So the other things are just the possibilities that she can get from others, and yeah, those are just possibilities.
Sir, my question is where in the question it is mentioned that you have to comment only about Ajay. Why not Lalita also?
It's so those these
Statement
are.
4 clearly says.
Hmm.
Statement 4 clearly says she has not died in past 15 days. That means she is alive. That means she is not infected in past 15 days. So what should be the answer? B and C.
Yeah, I also think so. You
Or
all
it,
think
it
so?
could be even the D option.
Actually, yeah, I also think so.
Think
B
so.
and
It's
C, right?
B and C.
Because the probability C, they say,
And
but why I said
it could be, if
about,
it's look, it could be,
Yeah, please. Yeah, once at a time.
but here,
it
na,
could be
but here,
also D option because
yeah, continue.
Please. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I was saying is,
Hmm.
Lalita has not been infected in the past 15 days. But why this
Okay.
is not is then there could be chances why this is not an answer, because it is said in the statement that a 70-year above will get infected, right? And
Mm-hmm.
will die in 15 days. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the reason Lalita has not been infected in past 15 days could not be an answer.
Yeah, I also suppose that D could have been the answer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
D actually then that makes it false the statement 3. Yeah, that there is nothing called
Yeah.
there is nothing of recovery there written. So we can't know what she recovered
Yeah,
or not, because
but aren't we speaking of what have like the statement 4 says that 15 days has been passed. Okay. So I mean that on that way of thinking, I was hoping for D to
Yeah,
be the
but
correct
then
answer. Yeah.
then statement 3 and 4 will be like then they
Yeah.
will like contradict
Because
each other. Yeah.
yeah,
But
with
I think
statement
B,
3.
but I think B can be an answer. The only thing is because the statement which is given in the three, that a lady which is 70 year above will get infected and the fourth says will die in 15 days. So concluding these two together, if we see these two statements, then Lalita has not been infected in the past 15 days will not be an answer.
So I just have a question. Now,
Yeah.
what method are we using to come to this conclusion? Is this like one because like MAP that the premise MAP and map SAP, like you wrote all of that and then you come or you do a Venn diagram. So I want to know what do I use, because in the classes you just it was all simple things like
Yeah.
all men are mortals, all men. It's very simple. When it comes to the exam, which is all these are so complicated. So you have to give me in the terms of what was taught.
Okay.
This entire second week is very confusing.
Okay. Yeah. The thing is, yeah.
So
So
what method do I use to come to the conclusion? Because each of us are guessing the answers.
yeah.
I
The thing
give
is,
me a correct formula for me to come to a conclusion, because
yeah. So essentially, the Venn diagram is something that is the perfect one. So the thing is, we can essentially visualize those diagrams and what includes and what interconnects those statements and statement. So the thing is, I also believe that this option B, in a sense, should be correct. And that time when I was seeing it. I mean, that time it did strike me, but. Essentially, I also think so now. It makes sense, but that time I didn't maybe
But
consider it. Yeah.
initially I
Just
also
yeah.
thought it makes sense, but because of the third statement,
Third
which says
statement.
a lady which is 70 year above
Mm.
will die within 15 days. Okay.
Okay.
She
Okay.
said that, and she has not died. Is it that?
Yeah.
Mm.
So concluding this 3 and 4 statement, Lalita has not been infected in past 15 days can also be a probable
Answer.
statement.
Yeah.
So second
I think
second
B and D are not the correct.
Okay.
answer is David David.
B and D are
B and D are correct. Okay. Why? D.
B and
D in a sense is wrong because statement 3 we basically go against the statement 3 that she was infected but has recovered. So nothing is said about recovery. It is only said that if a person who is over the age of 60 will die. There is nothing of recovery. And will die means it's like they're confident that they will die.
How would she die because she was not infected? So that second is correct. That is the statement three.
So actually,
Shall I?
the 15 days are counted from when Ajay and Lalita are in the lift.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
Yeah.
within 15 days, she may get infected from somewhere else. That's why it is not the right answer.
Yeah. I was telling the same thing. B and D are not correct because Lalita has not been infected in the past 15 days.
Okay.
Is not the correct answer because he has mentioned here before 15 days they have met in a lift. That so after 15 days she has not been died means only on the first day what she has done in the lift with Ajay and Lalita were there. So only that is the correct because only that after that event 15 days have passed. So on the second day, third day, fourth day, fifth day or sixth day, she may having the same event. We don't know. So to conclude that, we have to wait for another 4-5 days, isn't it? So that is not a correct answer here. Lalita was infected but has recovered is not a correct answer, and even Lalita has not been infected in the past 15 days is not the correct answer. So Ajay was not infected. Only that is the sure here, because the 15 days has been passed.
Past.
Exactly, the 15 days has been passed. So that on that day
So true,
the
true,
event
true.
was
Yeah, yeah.
Ajay and Ajay
Yeah.
and Lalita
Perfect, perfect.
were
Yeah.
to the event that is given.
Perfect, perfect. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, I think yeah, that's the perfect answer. Yeah, she can. Yeah, that's the point. I was also missing it. That she can get infected from in the past 15 days in n number of places, and that's something that is not included in the statements. Yeah, thanks for the yeah clarity. So yeah, then I think C becomes the perfect one. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's the thing. That why not be is that what you beautifully explained that we don't know what had happened in the past 15 days. The past 15 days event has not been documented in the statements, and as a result, we can't comment on whether she was infected in the past 15 days or not. So she can get infected in the 15th, 14th day also. So yeah, that's the thing. So it's yeah, it's all about considering all the cases. Yeah, and sometimes you tend to miss some of them. So I think this is the last one, and yeah, problem 5, and we have the same three statements, and the statement 4 is Lalita has died yesterday. So yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, please.
Sir, can you go back to first problem? Actually, I was taking picture, but I am late. So first problem I have. Yeah.
Okay. We can maybe after we finish we can discuss.
Yes.
No issue.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Somebody can answer why A. You are telling.
Sir, it's D, none of the above.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe people are saying also A. Yeah. Why D? Yeah. So you mentioned why it's D.
Because the Lalita may die because of another reason. So it is not necessary that she is infected and died. That's why.
Yeah. True. So there can be multiple reasons of dying. So yeah, essentially that tells it. So yeah, Ajay can be infected, and that the other options is Ajay was infected, but they were on a lift. When they were on a lift is also a possibility, but essentially that does not mean all the things.
Sir, I have a doubt, sir.
Please.
Sir, we'll have to stick on to the premise given here, right? So the condition given has not been mentioned that we'll have to include all other reasons for the death of Lalita. That may not be considered. Then how will we have none of the above as the answer, sir?
uh, in a sense, the statements, uh, if I get your question correct, is uh, see a person. So these things that are happening is essentially some of the truths we know about a condition. So
But we should not consider the truth, right, sir? Here, whatever the premise is given, we'll have to look into that and we have to answer. If we are going to consider
I
all other
think here
conditions,
days
then-
are not mentioned.
yeah, the thing is, whatever we the most information that we can derive from the statements are something that is that we are considering here. So
Fine, sir, but the first answer, they was infected when they were Dalits, can also be the right choice. If that is the case, then how are we going to have none of the above?
But Lalita has.
But here days are not mentioned, na? That here in statement 3 it is said that an infected person over the age of 60 will die within 15 days. Here
Okay.
days are not mentioned, that she died after 15 days.
Okay, okay, thank you, got it, sir. Got it.
anybody else? Yeah. Anybody else? Yeah.
I think it should be explained on the basis of modus ponens and modus ponens was there, no? If
Modus
A is
tollens.
there, then B will be there. If A is there, then B is there. Okay. In modus tollens, if B not, then A not. It is
A not,
like
yeah.
that. Isn't it?
Yeah.
In the earlier problem 4, it was that B was not there. Then you can say that A was not.
Yeah.
So he has not died because he was not infected. That is true.
True.
But here, none of the above is the answer because Lalita has died yesterday. So in deductive, the opposite way is not possible.
Opposite way is not
If B is there, means Lalita has died. Lalita is died. Lalita has died means it is B. So you are telling that if B is there, then you have to say that A is there. Means A means A here means Ajay was infected, isn't it? Ajay was
Yeah,
infected. If A is the Ajay was infected, B is Lalita has died. So in modus tollens, if B is there, then A is there. We cannot say like that.
Yeah.
If
Actually,
B is
yeah.
not there, then A is not there.
Yeah.
That has to apply
the
to
thing
logically,
we yeah, the
cannot
thing we
say that,
discussed yeah. Yeah, the thing we discussed in the first thing, yeah. The conclusion can't always, like, we can't go backwards and tell. So
yeah. The other way is not possible in deductive logic.
Yeah, Aditya, so could this, can I ask? So,
yeah, sure.
like, just like Dr. Siddharam explained, the two methodologies, so could that be the answer of Regina Das? She was asking like what exact methodology we are using. And we have a lot of confusion whether it should be solved with the Venn diagram or like SAM or something like that. So can we consider Dr. Siddharam's answer as the...
there are actually multiple ways to solve it, and it's actually multiple ways, and so SAM and those logical structure making is one such. So what he explained is the basic modus tollens, modus ponens models, what he was telling. So there are multiple things, whichever you are finding it comfortable to put the ideas into, those are something that you can essentially use. So so if you are more comfortable with making these Venn diagrams, so Venn diagram is a go-to thing. So yeah, essentially that thing is I basically always like to go for some Venn diagrams and taking it visually, but yeah, there are multiple ways you can also see it.
Like there are no like silver bullet for
No.
particular type of question.
No, there is no silver bullet actually. Yeah, so essentially there are so if you are solving it, so it is either a written or a theoretic, like a written model based methods where you have, and essentially both are same actually. Those are just representation, tools of representation. with them you can represent a lot of things. Just the representation. I think so.
Thanks.
So these are two premises. Okay.
It could be some flying organisms have 6 legs. Also, like all organisms have 6 legs.
Is it? Okay. Let's see.
C and D.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's see it like we have two things. Yeah, flying organisms and insects. So some flying organisms are insects. So these are insects. Okay. So essentially these are the some flying organisms that are insects. So the thing is, so they have not tell about all the organisms and insects or not, or all insects are flying organisms or not. So we can't essentially. So we have to. This is the correct. This is the, I think, a Venn diagram that we should go for. Yeah. Then it says that all insects. So essentially, all the insects here will have 6 legs. So if we have a bigger thing, then 6 legs. So from this diagram, what all we can derive? So the first thing is, some flying organisms do not have 6 legs. Is it true?
Yes.
It's true.
It's true.
Some flying organisms, they do have 6 legs. Yeah. Yes. This population is there.
Yeah.
So yeah, that can't be true. Yeah. Do not have.
Yeah.
All insects are flying organisms.
No.
No, some are like.
Some flying organisms have 6 legs.
Flying organisms.
Some flying organisms have 6 legs. So yeah, this population. Yeah.
Yeah.
And all flying organisms have 6 legs. No.
Correct.
All flying organisms have 6 legs. Is only this population have 6 legs, no?
No, sir. All flying organisms have 6 legs.
Some flying organisms.
Some flying.
Some organisms have
Only one. Some flying organisms.
The all flying organisms have 6 legs. Is these may not have. Yeah, these populations will not have. May not have 6 legs.
Now this Venn diagrams very well explained.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
So similarly, some sea creatures are mammals. No mammals lay eggs.
No mammals lay eggs. So for the previous question, even A should be the answer.
A.
Yeah, could you please explain it again? Like
Yes,
the
yes.
first one.
A can be
Why?
also an answer. I have same doubt.
Because they are saying that some flying organisms do not have 6 legs. So if you look at the leftover part of F, that that like that is supporting that statement. No?
The thing is, they have not tell that all flying organisms are insects. So this, so if they have told that all flying organisms are insects, then we could have gotten something like this. So then it would have been correct. Or essentially, if all organisms are out, like kind of this. So they have told some, yeah. They have not told that all the organisms are there. So that's why.
See, actually, like if you look at the conjunction of F and I, like the shaded one, so that is essentially the, like it is saying that there are some flying organisms which are insects. Okay, and the way you have drawn that 6 legs.
Yeah.
Okay, so the 6 legs, that some portion of that 6 legs circle is also like
also so the thing is two things. So they can also have two conditions. F comma I can also be a same thing. So they can have a complete conjunction, and also this 6 legs can be extended to this also. We do not have information for that. So this thing, yeah, some flying organisms do not.
That is true. So even your statement is right. The opposite of that means do not have 6 legs. That should also be acceptable.
Which one?
The flying organism may have 1, 2, 3, all numbers except 6.
Yeah. See, these are possibilities. So some somebody please mute it. Noise is coming. Yeah, please.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Now, yeah, please. So, yeah, please.
But I think with the subject and predicate, you can confirm that answer.
Yeah, that subject predicate we can essentially, yeah, that's
apply,
another way. But the thing is, some flying organisms do not have 6 legs. It is we do not have a connection between flying organisms and 6 legs. We do not know. Those are directly interconnected. So if those are not directly interconnected, we can't tell. So the first and the D option, you are confused because though both are actually two possibilities are actually. If you closely see, those are two possibilities. And we can't. So if you had mentioned. There were two conditions, yeah, the necessity and something called as possibility. So something should be necessarily true, something can be possibly true. These are something that can be possibly true. If two statements, two premises are not directly connected, those can be like possibly true.
So we cannot take like the possible consideration as answer.
No. Possible considerations can't be taken.
B is the answer.
Okay. Just see. I don't know. I don't remember though. But it can have multiple also. I don't know. I don't remember actually. But the conclusions. I have to work it out. But yeah, it can have multiple answers. So multiple consider also this too. So, okay, let's solve it. So essentially, this first one is similar. Some sea creatures. Sea. So no mammals lay eggs. So eggs. So what conclusion can you draw out of them? Some mammals are not sea creatures. So they are telling that some sea creatures are mammals. That means this population is there. So first one I think is wrong. Yeah. Some sea creatures lay eggs.
Yeah, that shaded portion.
So eggs. So they have not told anything about sea creatures and eggs. That may be a possibility. They can lay eggs. So eggs is here. Some sea creatures do not lay eggs. Okay.
That also can be a possibility.
Some sea, yeah. So yeah, that can be a possibility actually. So it has told told us that if they are mammal, they will not. So the population of which sea creatures which are mammals will not lay eggs. So this is correct. Some sea creatures are not mammals. Yeah, I think that also is correct. No. So yeah, so the thing is we forgot the condition of sea and mammal. Yeah, they can also have both these conditions. The sea and the sea creatures, all the sea creatures can be mammals. So they can have same same condition. So that condition can also be there. So essentially, because that some sea creatures are not mammals is not wrong.
So here answer will be B and C both.
No. Only C. Why not? Why not C? Is because some sea creatures lay eggs. So we do not have any information about whether so these are eggs connected to that or not. So there can be a condition that okay, this set can lie here. Okay, this x1, but there is no statement that tells us that. So if there was another statement that some sea creatures lay eggs, so then we can find okay. Then we must be sure. Then we will be sure that okay, these eggs lie here. Got it?
Sir, why not A?
Why not A? So the thing is, we can't say that some mammals are not sea creatures. In a sense, it's the same of these are connected. So we have to consider the set of it including all the things. Sometimes it can superimpose all the sets.
Sir, then statement 1 and 2, the option 1 and 4 is also same as statement 1. Some sea creatures are mammals, that means
Yeah, that's why.
some sea creatures are not mammals. The
Yeah.
vice versa is
So
also true.
that will be perfect when both the sets are together, like this condition.
So, sir,
So
in second condition that you are talking about, that will mean that all the sea creatures are mammals and all the
Yeah.
mammals are sea creatures. Nowhere in the given statement it is mentioned
it is
like
written.
that.
Yeah. You asked anything? I didn't get it actually. So the thing is, why A is not correct is that some mammals are not sea creatures. So basically we can have a condition in which some mammals are not sea creatures. They're like this. That the condition we had made. Okay. So in that also in the last option, some sea creatures are not mammals. So the thing was we can have this this portion, yeah. This portion they are not no, sorry. Some so this condition these are sea animals but they are not mammals. So this is the fourth option. This is the first option. But the thing is, these are not, we do not have perfect information whether they will be true or not. They can have they may not be true. These are only just possibilities.
Sir, but even D should come. The very first statement it says that some sea creatures are mammals. So it implies that some sea creatures are not mammals.
Yeah.
If the last option is true, then even first option should be true.
Yes. Some sea creatures are not mammals.
It is directly implied.
Yeah. True. The first 1 and 4 is connected actually. So we are not taking both the conditions together, yeah. So it's not like those two conditions are interconnected. We are selecting each conclusions single, one at a time. Yeah, that's it. So yeah, then you can have multiple conditions, and then these conditions will have a specific answer. Okay. Should we move ahead?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we had some syllogistic structures, yeah. So Aristotle had given some syllogistic structures. So which one of them was not there? So you have to tell. It's a single correct option.
But what third one?
So if you remember these are this one. Okay. Not this one. So yeah, it came from here. Every A is B. Then we have no A is B. Some A is B. Some not D. Yeah. So essentially, this one should be the answer. Okay. So problem 9. When Edwin Hubble used Seyfert variables to find the distance to the Andromeda galaxy, he was using the following logics. Which one?
Both deductive and inductive and deductive.
Okay. Anybody else?
Deductive logic.
C. Answer C.
So essentially, if you remember that they had some general statements about the Seyfert variables and how they were depending on their distance. So they had some connections between two connections, like one general truth that the pulsation period of those and the luminosity of it, and they had also the connection between luminosity and the distance. So essentially, so they had already used those inductive logic of the connections between Seyfert variables and the luminosity. Okay, so essentially I think it should be deductive. Because they had already made a premise, the two premises, and then they worked upon the conditions. So it's on a specific.
Deductive, both inductive and deductive.
Yeah, every deductive should be inductive and deductive that way actually. But essentially, if they are taking a inductive truth and and building upon that, it's also that's why it's a deductive.
Yeah, Pradeep, actually this was right in the assignment, and when we have got the answers, then it was said that both
It's
inductive
both.
and deductive is the correct answer. Like that was
Yes,
we
yes,
have
yes.
given.
I agree.
Yeah,
Is it?
because yes, I know it very correctly because I got it wrong.
Oh,
So
okay.
that is why I was looking more for an explanation that why it is correct. But
Is it?
judging from our discussion, you are saying that it is
Yeah.
so maybe like either we got wrong answers, or maybe there are some issues with the slides. I don't know. Like, could you please mark this
Yeah,
as a
sure,
text in the next question?
Sure. Maybe we can mark it. So I had why it is deductive is that explanation. But both inductive and deductive, if anybody has any explanation that they can answer it. Yeah, please. Then we can maybe discuss with other TAs.
Because I totally agree with the discussion we right now are having. That,
Yeah.
Because deductive has to be started
Started
from
with
an
the
inductive
inductive.
point. Yeah. So I don't know like why both inductive and deductive could be correct. So maybe like I don't know. I'm looking for the answers here. Like the explanation here. Yeah.
Anybody who? Yeah, please.
The answer.
Mhm.
Since he applied deductive logic from the inductive premise,
Mhm.
that is the reason why we have both inductive and deductive logic.
Okay. So somebody is telling it was
a
mentioned by
often
professor.
translation, Like
So,
gradually he moved from deductive logic slowly inductive premise was also applied. That was the reason why answer C is right.
Okay, so yeah, maybe we can come back to this problem next class. And okay, in book it is mentioned both. Okay, essentially I do not have a book, but okay, I can maybe see it, and maybe we can discuss this problem next time if there is some confusion.
Because the lecture it is mentioned inductive logic, because the deductive is based on the inductive. Without the inductive, we cannot go for it.
We cannot go. Yeah, my logic is
So
that
that,
only.
so that is the correct, and it is mentioned in the videos because I gone twice, and inductive is the base.
Inductive,
Deductive. So you cannot go directly to deductive, isn't it?
Yeah, but then there is okay. I do not want to maybe. Yeah, maybe
That
we
needs
can.
explanation, so please complete.
Yeah.
Please make it clear, sir, in the next
Yeah,
time.
yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah, maybe we can discuss it next time. So yeah, maybe we'll take that up in the next class. Till that time, so this question is from the use and misuse of logic. So sometimes we make sometimes long logical expressions, and then so there is some questions on how this deductive reasoning can vary. Explain this question. Okay. So you have a set of premises, and you derive a conclusion. So using those, so you find that the conclusion you derived is wrong. So which of the following can be a possibility? So we have to tell that. Okay. So here, yeah, basically, if you have a wrong premise, you can get if you have one of the premise wrong, you can have a false conclusion. So maybe we can change it, and so if you have a true conclusion, then can you say that all the premises are true?
It could be false also. If all the premises are true, then the conclusion can be false also.
How?
Sir, because a correct conclusion can be derived from false premises, but a false conclusion cannot be drawn from true premises.
Yeah. So can you give one example? Somebody, like anybody? Maybe you can think upon that. Essentially, if I will leave it on to you, and maybe you can think about it and form an example. But in essence, what you mentioned, that a conclusion is false that implies that the starting premises are wrong. The conclusion is true, but essentially it does not imply that the starting premises are true. That's the two keywords, that the two key things that essentially we have.
Can you repeat what you said?
So, conclusion.
If the conclusion is true, acha. If it is
false, that the starting premises are false. Starting premises are wrong. And if conclusion is true, it's true. So it does not imply that starting premises are true. So these are some things. So you can maybe think about this and some echo.
Device is network.
Can somebody turn off their mics? Everybody, please. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So this is the last question, I believe, and this essentially tells about a study. Yeah, please turn off the mics, maybe. Yeah.
Maybe I'm not aware of that, so please you can mute it.
Yeah. I'd like to see. Okay, I am muting everybody. Anyway, if you want to speak, please you can tell. Just I am muting everybody. So this is a question from last semester, I think last semester assignment. I am audible, yeah? Okay. I thought I unmuted myself also. Yeah. Okay. People are telling. I think only one answer we got. Okay. B. Okay. Okay, essentially, if I think so, some time is needed for this. So you all can maybe take a snap of it and keep it. We can discuss it in the next session. So essentially, we can discuss it. So it was the last question, and we can take it up in the next one. I kept it in the last because there was some process of thought in it, so I thought let's keep it on the last one. So essentially we can take it up first in the next session and then go on discussing the third one that I don't know what the things are. Is it okay for everyone? Yeah. So is it okay? Yeah. So yeah, essentially we can now discuss some of the issues that okay, let's take a snap of it, and this will be the first thing we will discuss in first thing in the next session, and also maybe that other question that you had taken up. Okay, next Sunday, same time. Somebody was asking the first question. Yeah. Yeah, the others are free to leave. I think we'll be staying for another 5 to 10 minutes and then we can end the session. So, yeah. So, the thing is, I don't know. Yeah. Whenever you go for the courses, you will have this session, problem solving session. So you click here to view the problem solving sessions, and you will have the videos from the 4 TAs. So I will also upload my one by today, and then you can see this session also. So we had one session here and the other TAs, 3 TAs are there, so you can have all the things. And essentially, if you want to see the discussion on the first problem, essentially you can also just see on the recording also. It's also available. So yeah, it's essentially made for those that purpose only. If somebody is not able to discuss, somebody is not able to join at that time, they are free to join and they are free to see those live discussion sessions. Yeah. Final. Essentially, the final examination pattern will mostly for most examinations are derived from what they are giving on the assignments. So it will be mostly on that only, what the assignment sets are. as in examination pattern, as a type of questions are mostly those are what we are having on the assignments. So some questions I think in the future session, videos will be theoretical, like subjective also. Now we are mostly objective questions. We're dealing with mostly objective questions. So you will have some subjective questions also. So yeah, so that things also are there. So you can have multiple kind of, yeah. The predominantly ones will be the MCQs, the multiple select options, and I think the theoretical ones. It will not be like yeah, mostly it will be that like that only. Plus these subjects will not have some diagrammatic or such approach, so nothing will be like that. Okay, so if there are no doubts, then we can close the session here. I think some people are asking about the things with here. Some people were from humanities and they were not having doubts having those in the regarding the fitting of the course. Are they clear about it? Okay. Any book can be suggested. Yeah, the course has a book by the same name, so I did not go through it, but that is the book that is recommended. Yeah, I haven't gone through it, but yeah, that's what is written on the course page also. So I think that will be enough. Anyway, the book name is same as the course name, Research Methodology in Natural Sciences, I think by IISc Press. So yeah, you can also always go through that, and yeah, essentially you can always have multiple what you say, different articles saying the different separate articles for each topics, and you can also always go on the depth of it. And such you will also, all the assignments will be enough for exams. Yeah, it should be enough. The assignments are essentially very rigorously made, so I think that will be enough, and I think that that's the level they will ask. Okay, so thank you all for joining, and I hope I could help you with the thing, and also it was a nice session. So in 2 weeks I signed properly because I was late admitted. Can you again, in a sense, again means like, yeah, that I said the discussion has been uploaded in the YouTube, so there will be not a issue. You can just look it up there. It's not an issue with that. So which channel? Yeah, that I told you. It's here in the course page only. You will find problem solving session, and then when you click here to view the problem solving session lectures, you will have this the YouTube links. Also you will also get the presentation links. So that's which one is mine. Yeah, this one. So the slides will also be there, so essentially for your reference. So it's always there. So if you just click here, week 1, and the videos will open.
To assess the radioactivity, so different test points are there, as you said.
Okay,
like
my
if
screen
only
is not visible. Yeah, sorry. So it is there here. If you click problem solving session and then click here to view the problem solving session lectures, you will get this, and then you have the folder that has our presentation and the video link. Yeah. Thank you all for joining. Thank you all for. Hope we meet in the next session, and have a nice Sunday. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, Om, please. You wanna ask anything? Okay.